Right, Tom. Tom's on holiday or something. He's out and about. He comes across a happy couple. They trick him. They end up stealing his luggage, all of his credentials, his details. They give him a fake number to ring for a fake police officer. So he rings it up. He thinks everything's under control, that he's blocked all his cards, that he's on the right track to get all his stuff back. But there was also in on the scam, the person on the phone. So they ended up stealing his property, his money, his physical property in his luggage. It was all gone. The happy couple was two con artists, and the guy's sister was the pretending detective on the phone. So we ended up losing all his stuff. That's
brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Round of applause for our masterful storyteller. So those of you who maybe haven't read it yet, it was so intricate. There was a whole group involved in this con, and it played to who he was as a person. It played to his niceness, his kindness. One thing I want to highlight to you all right now, Tom was a wealthy businessman. He wasn't stupid. Tom wasn't an idiot. He wasn't a fool. He wasn't gullible. He just didn't see. So the question that we need to ask ourselves when we are dealing with an addiction and why we've fallen for it isn't, how do I be smarter? Isn't, how do I get wiser? It's not, was I brought up wrong? The simple question that we need to ask ourselves is, what am I not seeing? And there is so much hope in that, because if we are addicted because we're not seeing something, just like Tom was tricked because he didn't see what was really going on, if the same is true for us, then as soon as we see it, we have freedom. Tom wasn't stupid, he just didn't see the trick. Even the unaddicted are tricked. Now these days, there's not many people who are unaddicted. Like these days, as I said before, there are people on ridiculous salaries who are paid to addict us to products, to substances, to activities. That's literally their job, to get us more addicted, because it makes that company more money. So drug dealers, that's always been a thing, that they're making money and they trick and they scheme and all of that. But now reputable companies are doing it. So I'm not sure how many people we can actually call unaddicted. I think the people currently in our society that we live in that are unaddicted are the ones who've dealt with their addictions. People who are just coasting are usually addicted to something. But even the unaddicted are tricked. So you'll hear comments, I hear comments all the time from unaddicted people or people who aren't addicted to that thing they're talking about. And people will make comments like, I don't even drink, but I could do with a gin after that. Or, I've never smoked, but that made me need a fag. A common one is like, everything that makes you feel amazing and is moreish is now called something crack. So they'll be like, that's cat crack. About catnip, they'll call it cat crap. Or a cat crack. Coffee. Or coffee, they call Christian crack. So even people who aren't addicted have fallen for the trick and the lie and the deception that basically that thing, that substance or activity does have something to give you, but too much of it will hurt you. That's a trick. That's a lie. But the point is that it's not only the addicted that are tricked by the concept of addiction and why things are addictive and why we do things we don't want to do when it comes to substances and activities of addiction. And it's people who have the highest IQ, it's people with a lower IQ, it's people that are charismatic, it's people that are shy and quiet. It's people, well, shy and quiet people can be charismatic, but you get my point. It's people who are well educated, it's people who aren't educated. It's people who like are good leaders and everyone flocks to them. It's people who don't like to lead, they like to follow. All types of people fall for this trick. And it's because it's a trick. So it doesn't only work on people who are addicted, it works on everybody in our society that has received the messaging and that has a brain And we're going to get into later what that trick actually is, how it works, and once we know how it works, we don't fall for it anymore. And that's what we're going to get into in the future weeks. But it's important to know, and I'm not going to answer the question now, but somebody submitted a question about if I'm an alcoholic, is it wrong for my partner to drink in front of me? We will get into that today or another day, because that's such a good question. There's so much can come out of that. But the relevance of that here and now is that partner is tricked too. Most of the people in our lives, because most of the people in our society don't understand how this actually works. So we cannot rely on what other people are going to give us or show us or do for us. We've got to understand the truth for ourselves. Tom didn't lack intelligence. He didn't lack resource. He didn't lack charisma. He lacked sight. He didn't see what was really going on. And if he'd have known that trick exactly, he wouldn't have fallen for it. As soon as it started to unfold, he'd have gone, hey, I know what's going on here. If he'd have seen, he wouldn't have fallen. Addiction is not just a habit. Addiction is not too much of a good thing. Addiction is not knowing when to stop. Addiction is a trick. It's a con. It's an illusion. And we will get into how the con and illusion and trick works. But if that's true, if it's a trick, if it's an illusion, it's not just a weak person that didn't know when to stop. It's not just a fool who's having too much of a good thing. It's not just a habit that you don't have the wherewithal to change and break out of. No, if in fact it is a trick and a con that has been played on you as a victim, then the question isn't, how do I stop? The question is, how do I see? How many of you have just cried out to God or the air and said, how do I stop?
Yep.
Make me stop.
Yep.
But that will never lead us to freedom. The question is, how do I see? Show me. So the prayer isn't, God, stop me. The prayer is, God, show me. Because when we know the truth sets us free. When we see the truth, it just leads to our freedom. God is not a micromanaging puppet master, but he will show us. He will show us the way. Not, Lord, stop me. Lord, show me. If that's your question, if that's your heart's cry, this is your answer. True freedom, the Holy Spirit, community. Like, he's giving the answer. But if you're not looking for that, you won't see it. We talked before about when Jesus said, seek and you will find. He wasn't just talking about himself. And we got into the whole thing of the RAS, which I won't go into now, but how we do find the things we seek. If you are approaching true freedom with the wrong question, you will not see the answers he's literally giving you. Whereas if your question is, God, show me. Show me. I don't want to be tricked anymore. I want to see how it works, so as it stops working. Then he is literally showing you. The answer's already there. It's already in the books. It's already in the community. It's already in these sessions. But we've got to be looking for the right thing so that we will see it. So the question is, are you willing to see? Are you willing to accept it's not your fault? Which some people find harder than accepting responsibility. Like, some people want to hold on to blame and self-criticism and shame, and that's a whole subject of why we do that. But for some of us, we don't want to accept it's not our fault. We want to blame ourselves. And for others, we're quite happy to accept it's not our fault, but then we don't want to take responsibility. Are we willing to see? Are we willing to take responsibility and accept that we've been victims? We've been hoodwinked, we've been tricked, we've been conned. But now we're going to do something about it. Are you willing to see?